Hey everyone, welcome to the world of Inscryption, where every card you play carries a sigil, a special power that can change the tide of battle. Today, I'm ranking all 38 sigils from Kaycee's mod, from the most powerful to the least helpful. Whether you're new to the game or looking to master advanced strategies, this guide will help you understand each sigil's strengths and weaknesses. Let's get into it. S tier, the Game Breakers. These are the elite sigils that can carry entire runs by themselves. They define your deck and can turn even the weakest creatures into unstoppable engines. If you see one of these, grab it, no hesitation. Yellow Square tier, strong and reliable. These sigils might not be broken, but they're still incredibly powerful and work well in most decks. They're the backbone of a good strategy, and in the right combo, they're just as deadly as S tier picks. Orange Square B tier, synergy dependent. B tier sigils are situational. They shine in specific builds but fall short outside of them. Don't ignore these, just know when to play them smart. Red Square C tier, niche or underwhelming. These sigils offer minor value or defensive gimmicks, but won't win you games on their own. They're filler, not finishers. No entry D tier, meme picks and traps. And finally, the bottom of the barrel. They're fun to mess with, but if you're serious about your run, leave them behind. S tier, the Game Breakers. These sigils are so strong that they can almost carry a run on their own. Unkillable. When a creature with this sigil dies, it returns to your hand instead of the discard pile, letting you replay it infinitely. Combined with cheap cards like Jack, you can flood the board repeatedly without running out of resources. With the right combos, Unkillable turns any card into a powerful engine for endless attacks and resource gains, making it one of the strongest sigils in the game. Fecundity. This sigil grants your creature the incredible ability to create an exact copy of itself every time you play it. Think of it as a multiplying force. Play one creature, and suddenly you have two. Play those two, and you get four. This exponential growth can quickly fill your board with an overwhelming army of identical creatures. The power of Fecundity shines in its ability to snowball your presence on the board, especially when paired with low-cost creatures. Starting with a cheap minion means you can flood the battlefield rapidly, forcing your opponent into a defensive position early on. Touch of Death. Any damage dealt by this creature instantly kills the target, no matter how tough it is. This is incredibly powerful because it bypasses all armor and health buffs on enemies. Double Strike. This lets your creature attack twice per turn, effectively doubling its damage output. On high-power creatures, this quickly leads to enemy boards being wiped out. Trifurcated Strike. This sigil allows a creature to attack all three enemy lanes at once. If you combine this with buffs, it can clear an entire enemy lineup in one turn. Bonehorn. When a creature with this sigil dies, you gain 4 bones, the resource you need to play stronger cards. This creates a great bone economy, letting you summon bigger threats faster. Many lives. It gives a creature the ability to be sacrificed over and over again without ever dying. This means each time you use it for a blood cost, instead of going to the graveyard, it stays right there on the board ready to be sacrificed again next turn. It is insanely powerful in blood economy decks, where you need to constantly summon high-cost creatures. A tier, strong and flexible. Very good sigils that fit well in many decks and help you control the game. Bifurcated Strike. This lets your creature attack 2 lanes instead of 1. It's excellent for applying pressure and dealing with multiple threats simultaneously. Ant Spawner. Playing this creature summons a free worker ant, quickly increasing your board presence. In insect-themed decks, ants gain +1 damage or toughness for each other ant on the board, so the more you play, the stronger they get. This sigil multiplies your swarm's size and power, making it a key card for fast, overwhelming pressure that can crush opponents through sheer numbers and scaling strength. Hoarder, Magpie. This sigil lets you choose any card from your deck to add to your hand. This level of control over your draws is invaluable for setting up combos. Worthy Sacrifice. The creature counts as 3 blood when sacrificed. This is especially useful when you need to summon expensive creatures quickly by sacrificing others. Bloodlust. Every time a creature with the Bloodlust sigil kills another creature, whether it's a weak worker ant or a massive grizzly, it gains +1 attack power permanently. This makes Bloodlust a snowball mechanic, where each kill builds momentum and turns an average card into an unstoppable powerhouse. It rewards aggressive, proactive play. The more enemies you clear with this creature, the harder it hits next time. Scavenger. Whenever an enemy dies, you gain bones automatically. This passive bone generation is great for sustaining your plays. Bone Digger. This sigil generates 1 bone at the start of each turn, regardless of what happens on the board. While it may not seem flashy, Bone Digger is incredibly valuable for bone-centric decks, especially in Kaycee's mod, where bones are used to summon powerful undead creatures. Unlike other bone-generating sigils that require a death or trade, Bone Digger is passive and consistent, acting as a reliable economy engine. Even if your creatures aren't dying, you are still gaining resources turn after turn, giving you the edge in longer matches or when you are setting up for big plays. It shines particularly when placed on a low-cost creature that can stay alive for a few turns, stacking bones without much effort. Fledgling creatures with the Fledgling Sigil start off small but evolve into a stronger form after surviving 1 turn on the board. This mechanic is fantastic for early game stabilization, especially when you're behind, because it allows a cheap creature to transform into a much more threatening one with improved stats or abilities. Armored. The Armored Sigil grants a layer of damage immunity. The creature absorbs the first hit it takes without losing any health. Think of it like a temporary shield. This sigil is incredibly valuable for stalling, trading favorably, or keeping key creatures alive long enough to activate other effects like fledgling or evolutions. It's also a great counter to poke damage from cards like Sentry or Sharp Quills, and it synergizes well with cards you need to keep alive, such as Trinket Bearer, Bone Digger, or support units like Leader. B tier, situational but useful. These sigils work well but depend on your deck or situation. Airborne. Creatures with this sigil can fly over enemy blockers and hit the opponent directly. This is a great way to bypass defensive lines and pressure the opponent's health. Waterborne. Creatures with this sigil dive underwater to avoid attacks, essentially dodging damage. This gives you time to set up your board or protect key creatures. Morsel. When sacrificed, this sigil buffs other creatures, making your next plays stronger. It rewards strategic sacrifices. Guardian. This creature moves to block attacks aimed at your other creatures. Great for protecting valuable units but can mess with your positioning. Sharp Quills. Deals damage back to enemies that attack it. It punishes aggressive decks but is less effective if enemies don't attack often. Rabbit Hole. It creates a 1-power, 0-cost rabbit in your hand or on the board when the creature bearing the sigil is played. While the rabbit itself isn't strong in combat, its true value lies in being a free sacrifice target, something incredibly useful in decks that rely on blood cost mechanics. Essentially, Rabbit Hole acts as a built-in resource generator. It gives you 1 free unit to sacrifice immediately or later, allowing you to accelerate into higher-cost creatures much faster. Leader. The Leader Sigil gives all adjacent friendly creatures +1 attack, making it a powerful support tool especially in tribal decks like wolves, insects, or ants. When placed strategically in the center lane, it can boost 2 allies at once, turning a modest board into an aggressive front line. It's particularly effective when used with cards that summon multiple creatures or when you have swarm units that otherwise lack power. Trinket Bearer. It drops a random usable item into your backpack, if there's room. Items in Inscryption can be game-changing, from emergency squirrels to full board wipes. Stinky. Creatures with the Stinky Sigil reduce the attack of the opposing enemy creature by 1, essentially weakening that lane's threat. This makes it an incredible stall tool in the early game or when facing big hitters like Grizzly or Moosebuck. Loose Tail. When a creature with Loose Tail is hit, it immediately jumps to an adjacent space, leaving behind a harmless tail card, 1 health, 0 attack. The tail acts as a temporary blocker, absorbing further attacks. This sigil offers survivability and can help maintain board presence by avoiding a kill shot, especially when combined with evolution cards like fledgling or utility creatures. Bees Within. When this creature is struck, it adds a bee card, 1/1, airborne, 0 cost, to your hand. While the bees aren't strong individually, they're useful for chip damage or free sacrifices. This sigil works best in attrition battles or when combined with cards like Fecundity, where getting extra cards in hand helps maintain pressure. Dam Builder. When placed on the board, a dam builder fills adjacent empty spaces with dam cards, 0 attack, 2 health, waterborne. These are purely defensive obstacles great for slowing down enemies and protecting your side from wide attacks. However, dams clog your board, limiting your ability to play new creatures. This sigil is very situational, great when stalling or protecting a specific card, but terrible in fast, aggressive builds where you want to fill the board with attackers. Hefty. After attacking, this creature moves 1 lane. This movement can push enemies back or disrupt lanes but requires careful positioning. C-tier, niche or weak without synergy. These sigils have limited use and usually need a specific deck or combo to shine. Corpse Eater. When an ally dies, this creature automatically gets played from your hand. This helps maintain board presence and keeps up pressure without costing extra bones. Amorphous becomes a copy of a random creature at the start of battle. Can swing a fight if it copies something powerful. Sprinter. Moves each turn randomly, which is hard to control and often causes problems. Burrower. Hides when not attacked, but its passivity makes it less useful in fast-paced games. Rampager. This sigil forces creatures to push others out of their way each turn, useful for repositioning but can cause chaos if uncontrolled. D-tier, memes, chaos, or regrets. These sigils are mostly joke picks or can actively harm your run if you rely on them. Bell Ringer. Deals damage based on bell position, which is hard to predict and inconsistent. Mighty Leap. Only useful against flying enemies, so often wasted space. Frozen Away. Delays your creature's entry into the board, losing precious tempo. Made of Stone. This creature is immune to instant kill effects like Touch of Death or Stinky, making it reliable against certain threats. Outro. And that wraps up the full breakdown of every sigil in Act I in Kaycee's mod. I hope this helps you understand how to build stronger decks and avoid common traps. If you've got any favorite sigils or crazy combos, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Inscryption strategies. Until next time, may your draws be lucky and your plays deadly.